Alright, so throughout many versus battle threads, you'll hear one common thing about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure characters, and that's most of them are building level or large building level at most. This is going off of 3 feats that happen throughout the entire series. Tarkus splitting a hill, Star Platinum inhaling a town's worth of fog, and Stone Free deflecting meteors. These 3 feats are either taken out of context, the character has better feats, or just casual feats at best. All the way back in Phantom Blood, the character Tarkus is fighting the Phantom Blood group. He splits a hill in an attempt to kill the group. There are 2 reasons this feat is flawed. The first is that Tarkus, when he was first introduced, completely shattered the hill Jonathan was standing on, with nothing more than a slight movement of his finger. The second is that the feat in question was just Tarkus stabbing his sword into the ground, and it caused the hill to be destroyed, not him striking the hill itself, just him stabbing his sword from several to tens of meters away from the group. There's also another reason this can be applied to characters like Jonathan or Dio, and that's because these characters far exceed Tarkus in strength. And after Jonathan got Zebli's powers, he performed a feat that Tarkus said was impossible for him to even begin to achieve, and Jonathan did it with complete ease before one-shotting and speed-blitzing him. Plus, Dio fought on par with the likes of Jonathan. Now, during the Justice arc, JoJo used Star Platinum to inhale a town's worth of fog. While this feat was calculated to require building level power, there are issues with it. The issues are that 1. Star Platinum isn't just inhaling fog. He's inhaling a town-sized being. And 2. Justice isn't just the fog that covers the town. Justice is the town from all of the buildings down to the very brick, which proves that Justice has town levels of power to create a physical town out of nothing, and Star Platinum overpowered that by just breathing in. Well, it was more sucking in, but still. In the Planet Waves fight, Jolene deflected small meteors back at the user in an attempt to defeat him. Deflections are calculated at around building level, possibly building level plus if I remember correctly. There are multiple issues with this feat as well. Firstly, this is a casual stone free since it's deflecting multiple meteors at the same time with relative ease. And secondly, another meteor later on in the fight was summoned, which is much bigger in comparison, and it can be calculated to be around city level, let's say block level in terms of destructive power, and Jolene deflected this. I also would like to bring up some more physical feats for JoJo characters putting them above building level. In chapters 53 and 54 Stardust Crusaders, we have the fight against a stand named the Sun, which, as his name implies, has the shape, characteristics, and works similarly to our own sun. This sunshine is bright enough to give the impression of being in the middle of the day, despite the time showing it's night. Having a luminosity calculated of producing 201.6 gigawatts, or 173.5 kilotons, the sun could use its energy from its luminosity to shoot beams of light that Silver Chariot was able to deflect pretty easily. And during the fight with Akira, or the user for Red Hot Chili Pepper, he uses his stand to absorb all of Mario's energy to power up his stand to defeat Josuke. Mario is a large town, going off of like several shots, and all of the electricity in Mario was gone, so that would include energy from houses to street lamps to train stations and shops and business offices and so on. All of the electricity in Mario had been absorbed and used to power up Red Hot Chili Pepper. A lowball calc of this feat would put him at like large town level, since he would have to produce and 27.3 kilotons of energy. Plus, let's ignore the fact that Versus Battle Wiki calculated this wrong and didn't take into account the extra energy from streetlights, shops, and business offices, so they only got him at like large building level or some shit like that. Now let's include abilities, since that's what JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is known for. In chapter 110 of Stone Ocean, the character Weather Report, as a way to stop a enemy stand user, tries to think of different ways he can manipulate the weather to stop the plane that the stand user was in. One of the things he comes up with is to create a hurricane, but doesn't use it because the plane was faster than a hurricane. Since Weather Report's ability is to be able to manipulate the weather and basically recreate weather-based phenomenons, it is reasonable for him to do this. A hurricane can output 1.3 times 10 to the power 17 joules per day, which is like anywhere from the town to city levels mark at least. And this one is pretty obvious, since he is one of the strongest characters in the series because of his abilities, that being Journo. The justification for Journo having, multiversal plus AP, while Highbolt is only with his hacks via GER. It was stated that GER's ability, that being, infinite death loop, reverts death and willpower to zero, in infinite number times, that is. While each death has a different circumstance. For example, from the panels I have on screen, it directly shows that every time Diavolo dies, he is in a different reality, which we can assume via Occam's razor that these are different space-time continuums, as each death takes place in a different place in time. Like for example, he's shown in a hospital room one death, and the next he is hit by a car. Diavolo later assumes it's a dream and even questions if it's Journo's ability. Journo also refers to the infinite death loop verbatim as he no longer has anywhere to go, especially not reality, never again. He'll never even arrive at reality of infinite death, or death infinitely. So since Diavolo's death is being reverted an infinite amount of times, endlessly across different realities, we can say that since it's happening at an infinite rate, his death is being reverted across an infinite amount of space-time continuums. People tend to believe that GER has to kill you in order to enact the infinite death loop. But this is wrong, as it was stated that anyone who is hit by the power of GER will experience an infinite death loop. But yeah, that's just, the high end of it. I could also argue that he's at least Universal Plus. But let's also include Johnny here. Johnny is able to fire off bullets that have been stated multiple times to contain infinite energy. This energy is so powerful that the only thing that has been shown to stop it, it's its power itself. Meaning you'd say that Johnny with Tuskac 4 is like infinite 3D or like high universal. So yeah, that's why I think that JoJo characters are above building level, both physically and ability wise. The reason why this video took so long, is because, well, I just fluctuated from being motivated do this to not motivated at all. But what do you expect? I'm only a teenager. But yeah, anyway, that's about it. See ya.